Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
All right. Troy Hardy, remember that name. When you go to Faith Farm Ministries, you will, I don't know if you'll see him or not because he's always so busy, but when I first met him, he was running around like a crazy man in the middle of all the furniture, everything was happening, and you had just, I don't know, how long have you actually been there, Troy?
21 years.
Oh, let's see, and I've been doing this with you all, maybe 12, but you came up in a different way. They didn't just hire you to do what you're doing now, did they?
No, they didn't.
They saw you as a student.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you showed such, I want to use the word, promise and grace. And I know that they look for people like you, and not everyone comes up to it. Sometimes people are just being helped, and then they go on, and that's fine. But there was something about you that you liked it yourself, and
yes.
you were very appreciative.
Yes.
And there you are now. So have you seen other people like yourself who've come through?
Very few, but there are a couple guys that are on my staff now that came through, and they're doing very well. One is my assistant director, which you'll probably get a chance to interview.
May I have his name?
Sometime. Raj.
Raj.
You've met Raj. He works in the IT department.
Yes.
But he's now my assistant director.
Okay, why don't you tell us what an operations, when you were just promoted to operations manager.
Yes, ma'am.
But let's go back before that. You were, what were you doing when you first got this, after you graduated, right? Then they brought you on.
Right. They brought me on as a store manager. When I got to Faith Farm, I was working in outside sales department. And it seemed like there's three parts to the store. There's an outside sale, there's an inside sales, and there's a new furniture. And I made all three steps. I started in outside sales. I went from outside sales to inside sales to as-is furniture, to used furniture. Then was promoted from used furniture to new furniture. So at that time, I was picking up a lot of gained, experience in the area of thrifting. And then I was asked to come on as the assistant director at that time, which I had no idea that.
What that would have been, right? I'm going to just stop you for a minute. Ben Starling is watching. Ben Starling says, Faith Farm is wonderful. Thank you always for sharing their story.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, and Ben is a terrific guy. Oh, he is. He's been a fundraiser. He's been everything, and I'm sure he takes everything to Faith Farm, and he gets everyone else to take it there.
That's great. Well, thank you, Ben, for tuning in. I appreciate that.
Right.
I appreciate you.
Okay, so now you get to be assistant director.
Yes. And at that time, I wasn't living at Faith Farm. I had just bought a house out in the acreage, a beautiful house, a dream house that at the time me and my wife really loved that house. And then I was asked to come on as director. Well, when they asked me to come on as director, I had to live at Faith Farm in order to be the director. So I had to sell my house, my beautiful house.
But it was worth it, wasn't it?
It was worth it. It really was. Just working with the staff, and Dean. About that time, Dean came on board, and he and I clicked, and he was like a father to me.
But wait, let me go back on something. Why do you have to live there to be a director?
Well, because you're overseeing the whole entire campus, and it's part of the process.
Things happen at 2 a.m, don't they?
Yes, yes. And I kind of felt that's where you were going. But yes, I mean, you could have anything from someone ODing, but because it's not foolproof, guys tend to bring in drugs, and sometimes you have people that try to use when they're in the program. And there could be a fire, there could be a lot of things that happen that you have to have someone administratively there at all times.
Okay, so you decided it was worth it for you to come back and do it.
Yes.
Tell us what your job really is.
Today?
Well, that's then. We'll come back to Director of Operations, but what was it when,
time?
Yeah, at that time.
At that time, just basically day-to-day operations of the campus, of the Boynton Beach campus, was my position at that time, was buying furniture for the new furniture. I was going to furniture shows twice a year in Carolina. So I bought every piece of furniture you see in Faith Farm now, the new furniture side, that's me. I actually outbought those items and brought them in.
But how did you know what to buy? You weren't a furniture guy before.
You guys tell me what to buy. The customers, you guys tell me, you guys teach me. what to buy. And along with you guys and the representative of different companies like Ashley and Standard and Coaster, some of these other furniture companies, you gain relationships with vendors, and they show you what's really going on as well. So between the customer and the reps for these different furniture companies, you can gain a lot of knowledge, and that's how I gain a lot of knowledge.
And one thing that I know that I think you've told us about it before is when you go there and you buy new furniture, it's much less money if it's Ashley than if you go into an Ashley store and buy it.
Yes.
And that's because they really appreciate Faith Farm Ministries, don't they?
They do. Ashley does a lot for us. But when you see an Ashley store, that's not actually Ashley. Those are turnkey stores. Those stores are just using the Ashley names. They're not actually the Ashley company itself.
Oh, it's a franchise of some sort.
It's franchises, yeah. Those stores you see are franchise stores. It's not actually Ashley themselves, but they're franchise stores.
I see. But when you get it, you're going directly to the manufacturer, Ashley?
Yes. I've actually visited the owner. I've spent some time with the owner. He brought me and Dean up once. They're out of Arcadia, Wisconsin is where they're located. And he brought me and Dean in for a 2-3 day, I can't remember, it was a long time ago. He brought us up and just lavished us, put us up in a hotel, gave us a tour of the entire business and showed us how he started, and it's a huge company.
Is his name Ashley?
Yes. No, his name's not Ashley. His name's Weinig, Mr. Weinig.
And where'd the Ashley come from?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Because I thought it would be someone like that, maybe a daughter was named Ashley or something, right?
I didn't have a daughter named Ashley. I gotta go back and review
okay.
that. You gave me some.
Okay, you're good. So anyway, you have now become kind of a guru of furniture.
Yeah.
Well, in a sense, you understand it.
I love it. When you find something that you're passionate about and you love it, I guess I could be called a guru or a fanatic. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's good. Okay, so when people are just getting a new apartment, young kids, let's say, that they have to furnish something, or they've come down here and maybe they've not had the best of luck, they shouldn't go to a lot of these furniture stores. They should come to Faith Farm because your prices are ridiculous.
No doubt.
They're so low.
You can get a $5 sofa at any given time at Faith Farm. I mean, if you want to get a start in life, it's the place to shop. And we also try to help people that are in need. We don't actually just try to sell everything to everybody. If you got a family that's in need, we will get them on their feet until they can do better.
We have another person watching. I know him so well, Dr. Mark J. Gannon. He is an optometrist who specializes in low vision, and that's a big issue here. So when they're coming to buy furniture from you, you'll see them get very close to the furniture and to the price tag, so that make sure your price tags are large.
Well, thank you for tuning in. Sir.
Right.
We appreciate you.
Yeah. So keep going. So let's just keep going though with the furniture. How do you know when people do bring in furniture? How do you know how to price it?
Once again, the customer themselves. I mean, you ladies shop. You guys are, you'll shop around for the best deal. And so it's relationship. You have to gain relationship with people. It ain't all about just, if somebody comes in, you have to say, well, how are you? Well, what's going on in life, and you want to talk to them about God and just try to help. Just holding a conversation with someone can change everything.
I can, but so do they negotiate with you? Let's say they see something and they love it. Will they say, well, can I have it for less?
That's the best part of it. That's the best part of it.
You like that?
We get a lot of negotiations, and that's what it's about. We get a lot of nice furniture. And, of course, if somebody sees something they like, they're going to negotiate. And there's no reason to negotiate because our prices are really low and they're really good. The thrift business is slowing down some. There's a lot of people doing what we do right now. We're not the only ones out there.
But I'm glad you said that. And I've had this conversation with Judy and with other people from Faith Farm. A lot of them are for-profit business.
Yes, ma'am.
And yours is not. Yours is helping over 440 people every year.
450 people.
Right.
And everything we bring in goes back into those individuals. I mean, we don't get any help from anyone, the state, the government, and not anyone. Donations only. We're strictly off donations.
Right. So I always say to people, if you have a little extra cash, donate the money, please.
Yes.
Put it in your will. I've said that before. You have to know that This is an organization where you see what they get, what they do. There's no hidden agenda.
Yes, yes, yes. And one of the things we tell the guys when we have our big sales, one of the things I talk to them about before we open the doors is, I don't care if we don't sell one piece of furniture, but when those people come in the door, I want you to let them know what we do. And it's the Christ in you that's going to help them, because you might save someone's life just by having a conversation with them. So we're going to sell furniture. That we do that. That's a given. But the key is to let people know, to see the Christ in us. Let them know what we're doing on this side of the bridge, because they don't know. A lot of people don't know.
No, they don't. No, a lot of people just drop off the furniture, or they go in and they buy, but they don't understand how strong an organization that is. And it's been around for, what, 65 years?
65 years.
65 years, and it's really to benefit other human beings.
Yes. I mean, it benefited me in a strong way, and I'll forever be indebted to Faith Farm.
Of course. Of course. And so I've, of course, gone to lots of the graduations, and I've gone to a lot of other things like that, and I find that I'm so inspired. I mean, even though I fortunately haven't had the problem, I listen to other people who've had the problem, and some of the horror that they had to go through.
Well, especially the ladies. I mean, you've heard some of those testimonies.
I can't even fathom that, but at least you're there. That's the thing, and you don't judge people.
No.
See, that's the other thing
Not
with
at
this.
all.
You know that they're human beings and that everybody can fall.
Well, that's why we love you so much, because you know, you have that heart. Our logo is a heart for the hurting, and you have that heart, and we
Thank
love you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Well, I do feel very strongly for your organization, especially. It's really touched me, and of course I live near Boynton Beach, and so that's where I go. But I always say to people, if you have anything, you have to give it to to Faith Farm. Well, no. There's no choice. You call them, and they're going to come get it.
Right.
Because if you think about it, somebody who has some very valuable gifts, well, I call them gifts. Let's say they live in the town of Palm Beach, and they want to give things away. Just think that it is like, you're not going to do it as a garage sale, but it's in an essence, Faith Farm is a big garage sale.
Yes.
It's just that you're not getting the money, but you are going to get the tax write-off.
Yes.
And you can discuss how that
works. We're talking
works.
about cars, not just furniture. We're talking cars, RVs, you name it. We'll grab it. And so everything helps. And like I said before, everything goes back into the men and women that are hurting. This doesn't, I could be out there making a lot of money. I don't make a lot of money, and I don't want to make a lot of money. My joy comes from when someone says, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry, but you're getting your son or daughter back. And that's the joy that I get from doing what I do.
Right, and I've heard so many incredible stories, being there and listening, and so many of you have been on my radio show for years now, every month. Lloyd Hassner is watching. Lloyd has been a big real estate developer, and it's interesting that people are watching, and they like to hear and watch someone like you, because they don't get to touch people that easily. You know that they're in a different world, and they don't really know what goes on, and they want to know what goes on.
And we want them to know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. Someone like Lloyd would have a lot of power to help you in some way.
Oh, thank you, Lord.
So you have a board of directors, and they, of course, don't get paid. They just work also to make sure that everything is run properly at Faith Farm.
Yes, we have an amazing board, by the way. They make a lot of good decisions, and they're in there fighting for us at every opportunity.
I know.
Every turn of the corner, they're fighting for us.
I mean, you should really share that it's not just Boynton Beach. A lot of them also don't know that there are other Faith Farm units.
Yes. We have one in Fort Lauderdale off Power Line. I think it's 27th Avenue. I could be wrong.
And that's where it started, right?
That's where it started. It started in Fort Lauderdale. So Fort Lauderdale became good enough to buy the property in Boynton Beach. And so then Boynton Beach was profitable, and we bought land up in Okeechobee, about 1,600 acres up in Okeechobee, with cattle and orange groves was their main source of income up there.
So how does one know where they should go to receive the aid? I mean, why would they go to Boynton Beach, or they go to Fort Lauderdale to live? I mean, how do they make that choice?
Well, you can go online. We're online, www.faithfarm.org. You can go online and look at us on the website. And you can choose whatever campus you want to go to. Doesn't matter. You can go to Okeechobee, Fort Lauderdale. There's no given campus that you have to say, well, you're not qualified to go here, you're not qualified. Everybody's qualified to go to every campus that we have. The Boynton Beach campus, unfortunately, is the only one that has women. We can house about 22 women. We have
Really?
22 beds right now for the women, and there's a huge need for women's ministry right now. There's not a lot of people out there. There's not a lot of places for them to go. And we have been fortunate enough to keep 22 beds open for the women. Out of 150 some beds, 22 of them we were able to create for women.
So Troy Hardy is my guest. He's Director of Operations. That's a new position for him. He's been there, started from the bottom, as they say. And he's, of course, with Faith Farm Ministries in Boynton Beach. And I want to just give you information that you can, if you'll just go online to faithfarm.org, you'll see lots of things. You'll see the upcoming car auction, where it's amazing what they sell for peanuts. And then you can see who else is involved there. But I know Carol Mahoney has been helping me with a lot of things with Faith Farm, too. We're getting article. We just had a wonderful article written, not by I forget his name.
Lee Jolliker.
Yeah.
Okeechobee. He was supposed to be here today.
Uh-huh. I have a hard time pronouncing his last name.
Jolliker? Lee
Jolliker. Okay.
Yes,
I don't know if it's French or something.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm sure because,
I'm
okay.
not sure.
But yes, and I haven't had the pleasure of this being
nice
here.
gentleman. He's a minister as well. He's a great
Right,
guy.
right. I noticed that's something that you've been doing now more. But the gentleman from Fort Lauderdale was here, and he was just about preaching on the show.
Yes.
But he had an interesting background in broadcast.
Yes, Douglas Lidwell is.
Yeah, he was great.
Pastor/director down there, and he's
Right.
doing an amazing job as well. You know, he took on a major role just recently down there. So.
You know, when you think of it, you have to be inspiring to get the people who come here to come there who are hurting.
Yes.
Because it's very difficult to just say, okay, you're not going to do drugs anymore, you're not going to drink anymore, you're not going to do those things. That's easier said than done,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, is what I tell people. You can come there because your wife says if you don't get it together, you can't come back home, which is not really a good reason to do it because you're not doing it for self, you're doing it for someone else. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you got to be sold out to turn it around, or you just waste your time. Yeah.
So when you're there, though, you're with a lot of other people who are also hurting, having the same problems. But you're put through a lot of education also,
Yes.
whether it's religious or other education. And I think, at least the people that I have met, there's a bonding.
Yes.
That's the first time that they can be with people who aren't condemning them.
Right.
They're holding their hand, each
Right.
each of you. It's almost like a giant support group, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's almost like a fraternity, if you want to say so. To me, it's more like a fraternity because every year we have this huge picnic where we bring all three campuses together. I mean, you've been to those.
Yes.
And so it's a brotherhood and a sisterhood to us is what it is forever. I mean, you're forever connected with Faith Farm. And all you got to do, you don't have to be a graduate. You could have just been there 2 or 3 months. We welcome everybody back. We don't turn our back on anyone. So I couldn't have done a better thing in my life.
Well, Troy Hardy, it's amazing, though, that someone like you, who is, I mean, I find you to be just electrifying, that you ran into something at the very beginning of your life that you could have, if you didn't find Faith Farm, could have really taken you down.
Yes, yes. And, you know, just like anything else, everything is a matter of time. I knew that it was a matter of time that I would turn it around.
You didn't know how, but you
Didn't
knew.
know how. A lot of times you don't know a way out. When you're doing one thing for so long, you don't know a way out. But there comes a time when things slow down, and you have to think to yourself, now is the time. And when you get a certain age, now is the time. So it's around about 35 when I said, I'm tired of sick and tired of being sick and tired.
What? You don't have to give me an exact figure, but what's your youngest student? Really, they can't be any younger than 18, right?
We just had a young man that was 19 years old, and it was very hard.
Baby.
He was a baby. He actually had braces when he came. He actually had braces on his teeth when he came, and I felt so bad for him. He just, I mean, all you can do is just love on him.
Was it drugs or was it?
It was drugs and some psychological issues too. But all you can do is love on these guys. That's
You think he's going to make it?
I'm praying that he does.
Yeah.
You just never know.
That's young.
Very young.
On
very
his
young.
own. Okay, and what's the oldest?
We've had guys 65.
That's not so old, actually. You've never had anyone 70 or 80?
We have, but those are the ones that have stayed on for a period of time. We used to let guys stay longer than deemed, and so we've had a guy. Oh God, his name was Arvid Pullman. He's passed on now, but he had to be in his 80s, late 80s.
Yeah, I would think, and you can share this, that once you have finished the program 10 months and you've gotten an education and you even went to college, they offer these extra units, you're a little afraid to go out there on your own. You could be afraid, right?
Yes, I mean, especially when it gets to the end of the 10 months, you're wondering what next, especially if you don't have a support group. A lot of people have support group, and when I mean support group is family, pastors, or someone that's going to give them a chance when they get out. Because what we offer is an Omega program that's down in Fort Lauderdale. And after the guys graduate, they can go to Fort Lauderdale and do a trade, or they can work, and they can stay there for another year until they figure it out.
With everything free?
Well, no, it's a small fee to be there.
But then they're working, too, so they can pay.
Right. And so the ones that work and pay are the ones that do the Omega work. Now, the guys that go to school, I don't think we really make them pay. We just want them to get that education so that they can better themselves. But if they don't go to school and get their grades, then, we have to call them in and say, well, we have to have you pay a little something now, just to make sure that you know that when you leave here, you have to become a productive citizen.
Right, and I'm glad you just brought that up, because, Troy, there are people who have gone on to start their own beautiful, whether they're churches or whether they are units like you have, where people can come and they help them.
Yes.
I guess that would make sense.
Yes. We have a guy down in Fort Lauderdale that runs a profitable pizza business that came through our program. And he gives guys jobs. His name's Louis. I won't give his whole name, but his name's Louis. And he owns a pizza parlor down in Fort Lauderdale, and he's just been giving back to these men when they graduate the program. He's helping them out.
Well, you can see how hard it is, because now they have to go out and get a job.
Yes.
And people aren't going to welcome them so much when they hear where they've been and what they've been through, right? And so
it's hard. It's like, my brother, before he passed, he had been to prison, and he came out with a tag on him as a felon, and he just could not get a job. Everywhere he went, he could not get a job. And he revert back to his old ways, and next thing you know, he's back in the system again. It's just
well, you can see that.
Repeat.
And so there have to, but I know you help them. You
Yes.
help a lot of your students.
Yes.
And the one thing that I have heard, and I think it's quite beautiful, is that if someone's really done some things that are pretty tough, the judge will say, okay, you have a choice. You're either going to go to jail or you're going to go to Faith Farm,
Yes.
and if you behave there, we're going to
drop all charges.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that was quite an arrangement for
That's
some.
amazing. It's amazing.
It is amazing to do. And do those people, I would think they'd rather go to Faith Farm than prison.
Yes, well, and that's true. And then you have some that don't really care. Those, which is sad. Those are the ones you pray for. Whether they make it or not, you still have to pray for them. But that's true. We do. We get a lot of people from the prison system, and we give them a second chance.
Okay, so now let's talk about your new position as operations manager. Is that of all 3 campuses?
Yes.
No kidding. So you're going up back and forth.
Yes. I'm not spending a lot of time at the Okeechobee campus because it's pretty small, and they do a great job up there with what they do, and they're constantly on it. It's a small operation, so they got a good handle on that up there. If they need me, I'm there. But I do spend a lot of time at the Fort Lauderdale campus, and of course my baby, which is Boynton Beach. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the back and forth.
Right. So are you still living on campus?
Yes.
And you have a wife?
Yes.
Yes. And you have children?
I have a son. He's 16 years old.
So he can't live on campus with you?
Yes, of course.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Aha. So I'm sure he's learning the hard way what not to do, right?
Well, he's an athlete. He loves to play basketball,
great,
so we
great.
keep him busy doing that.
Right. I know you're tall, and I guess he took after you, right?
Yes. So we keep him pretty busy.
The other thing that is amazing to me is you have a huge amount of trucks. You have 25 trucks. You have a lot.
Well, I'm running just at the Boynton Beach campus alone. I have about 15, and the Okeechobee campus is running about the same. So we're running about there's anywhere from 40 to 45 trucks on the road each day.
Well, it's the best advertising you could do, but it's that's a lot of gasoline and a lot of people running those trucks. And just recently we were cleaning out our storage room, and I called, and they came just on time. And it's I actually have had a lot of experience with your sales representatives, whether they are, coming and picking up things from me. And they're always polite. Once they had to bring the piano down from the second floor.
I remember that.
Yeah, I had to pick it from the second floor, and of course I donated the piano, and they were so careful. They were so good.
Yes.
I mean, that's
Well,
not
they were
easy.
told to be.
Oh, right. Told to be. Well, but it's still okay. So, no, I just, there are no words for me to talk more about how much I love Faith Farm and what I would do. I mean, if I ever was a millionaires, let me tell you, I would give so much money to Faith Farm, because we could have 800 people there, right?
Yes. Well, Faith Farm loves you back.
Yeah. Well, it's really a great organization. I always say that to people. You don't have to worry. No one's getting paid a lot of money.
Yes.
The staff works, and the paid staff just gets a small amount compared to a lot of other not-for-profits. So please do put them in your will. Write them a check. $5, $500, $5,000 goes a long way. People there get to live there. They get to eat there. They get to be there. It's all fresh air.
Yes.
Fresh air, right?
We love it.
Yeah, Troy, you're great. I'm so glad you took the time to come here.
Thanks for having
Troy
me.
Hardy, right, Director of Operations for Faith Farm. And congratulations on your new position.
Well, thank you.
Okay, we'll get you back again.
I love it. Bless you.